And welcome to Broken Entertainment. So today is our second indie push video, and we're going to focus on two people who work closely together. They have self-published books, they have writing services websites, and of course they have YouTube and various social media pages, which we'll get into. All of their social media links will be posted in the description, as well as the links to their books and YouTube channels and so on. So the first one that I'm going to get into is Divided by Sight, the YouTube channel run by Lauren, and she does a lot of writing sprints and writing book tags and discussions about writing and the self-publishing process, because both of these authors are self-published. And if you haven't done a writing sprint, it's really something I recommend if you're a writer. And they are absolutely hilarious just to interact with. And they work with somebody else who also has a YouTube channel, which I will do in another video, but her name is Sam Wicker, and they run a stream together. It's a live stream, usually about an hour long, sometimes it's longer, and where you go on, you talk, you have fun, and you also have writing sprints where you write for about 20 minutes at a time, then you'll stop, talk for a little bit, have more fun, and goof off. And they have a lot of fun. I've been to pretty much all of them, and since I discovered their channels, and they're a lot of fun. And outside of that, they have a lot of knowledge about the writing process. They've been through the whole self-publishing thing before, so they're a good source to listen to on self-publishing, because personally, I know how much information is out there, and a lot of it is repetitive, and a lot of it's not necessarily helpful. But when you listen to people who have gone through the process and not done it in, like, they didn't have the easiest time, nobody handed them anything, they had to fight for everything they got, it's very, very helpful. And they are very genuine people. Both Lauren and Nicole are very genuine, and they can really help you out. I will post a link to a specific video that I have in mind where they talk about the publishing process a little bit and some of the challenges that they had to overcome. And it's a very helpful way to realize self-publishing is not easy. Okay? It's a long process. It's a complicated process. A lot of people think, oh, you just write the book and then you put it out online. Well, that's not really, I mean, yeah, you can do that, but there's steps you should be taking if you want real quality work. And both Lauren and Nicole can help out with that through their videos, through conversation in their writing sprints, and also on their Enchanting Tales website, which I'll get into in a moment. But here is Divided by Sight. You can see their different videos. I'll go ahead and post the link in the description below. And, you know, this is actually the video I have in mind down here, their debut novel Journey. And both of them worked on this novel. It is a paranormal investigation kind of modern fantasy book. It's kind of a couple different genres. And it is Hunted: The Immortal's Kiss. It's supposed to be the first novel in a trilogy, possibly more, depending on where they choose to take it. But I know their initial plan is trilogy. And I will go ahead and read this real quick. While investigating a serial killer on a rampage in Denver, a young woman discovers that she may be his next target. Scarlet Blackwater is part of a trained group of slayers, a group of humans and paranormal creatures trained to protect humanity from monsters, who discovers a vital secret has been kept from her. Will the secret help her put a stop to the killer, or will it hinder her from doing her job? Donovan Vasily, forgive me if I say any of these names wrong, is an ancient vampire trying to fit into the human world by running the bar Sangel Vampiruli. with his brother Michael. It isn't until their paths cross with Scarlet realizes her interaction with the paranormal runs deeper than her career as a slayer. Together, can they defeat the murderer, or will Scarlet become another victim? So, really interesting looking book. I haven't had a chance yet to read it, but it is on my list, and I will do a review once I've done that. But I like that it's a very different take on a lot of the kind of modern urban fantasy type genre, in that it also ties in with paranormal investigation and brings a lot of different elements together for a really compelling story. And there is also Shadow Abyss, which is a poetry book. And this one is, let me get into the description here. When the nights grow longer, we spend time curled up by the fire. We seek our protection from the unknown, seeking out times of merriment and joy. Yet there is always darkness in the light. Embark on a journey into a collection of urban dark poetry portraying areas of paranormal, afflictions of the heart and mind, and questions we all face in life. There are also tales of death, love, and the Reaper of Death himself. So, paranormal, again, a little bit of modern fantasy. And that's another kind of departure from a lot of what I've seen, at least, in poetry, because like I said, not really my background. But I see a lot of poetry when I do see it that's just kind of generic, where this is a kind of a deep dive into the paranormal aspects of fiction, which I think is really interesting. Paranormal is one of those things that I always kind of have in the background, right? My two genres that I absolutely adore are science fiction and fantasy, but I love to bring in paranormal elements, particularly in the fantasy genre. So I love to see books that delve into that more. And then we have another book of poetry, Ignited Melodies. What lures us into the realm of fantasy? What makes us leave reality behind for a world created inside of our head? Everyone dreams about going on adventures, hoping to find things many believe are mere myths while discovering themselves along the way. And we've all dreamed of that, right? That, especially when you're younger, where your imagination, you just kind of let it take you places and just experience things that, as you get older, society tries to kind of push that out of you. Oh no, you gotta go to work, you gotta be serious, you gotta be an adult. But we've all been there. We all know what it's like to try to go on an adventure, to have our imagination just kind of set free. And this what this is about. In this collection of poetry, you may just find yourself lured to a world of dragons, sirens, demons, musicians, ocean adventures, and so much more. So, this has all the details down below, and I believe all of these, yeah. Looks like, yes, they are all available in paperback form, and the Hunted the Immortal's Kiss is also available on Kindle. And then they have Enchanting Tales, which is for upcoming authors who need some help with their writing, be it beta readers or blurb editing and so on. And this is the homepage here. They've got their book description, easy contact information, and they have the books they have published up here as well. Actually, it looks like they do not have the Ignited Melodies on there. That is pretty much brand new though, so that just hasn't been put up there yet. And here's the services they offer. So, book blurb editing. I have a very, very simple early format blurb that I've been working on for my first fantasy novel. It's very early stages, but they were very, very helpful. Looked it over for me, and it was actually very, very helpful in focusing my blurb and pushing it in the direction that it needs to go in. Because one of the areas that I struggle with writing is sometimes I get very wordy, right? And that's one of the things I have to focus on in editing, and that's one of the things they were very helpful with. Now, I have not use their developmental or beta reading services at this time, just because I'm not there yet. But they have 2 revisions on book blurbs, book book blurbs. I can talk. Developmental editing, they look for plot flow and consistency, check for characters that are fully developed and not one-dimensional, and ensure the story is written for a target audience and is appealing for the reader. Now, this is one of those things they talk about, Lauren talks about in her video, about their publishing process that they went through with their book, because they both worked on it together. And one of the things a lot of people do that kind of puts this like negative aura on self-publishing, right, is that you have a lot of people out there who write a book, they don't draft it, they don't review it, they don't have beta readers, they don't have content editors, which is what this is here, and then they just put it out there. But a traditionally published book gets a content editor, it gets a line editor, it gets beta readers. I've listened to a lot of Brandon Sanderson. He talks about alpha readers and gamma readers. Gamma readers being readers who read through it after it's been edited post beta reader, essentially. And alpha readers being people who read draft 0 to get you to the point of sending it to beta readers. So there's a lot of steps. And if you take those steps when you're self-publishing, it raises your quality significantly. So having a service like this, very, very useful. They also do beta reading, which is great because beta readers are not easy to find. And here they have 1,000 to 10,000 words and so on, what it takes. Rough estimation of how long it takes. And then anything over 100,000 words, you talk to them. And then book promotion, they do book blog spotlight, a blog post featuring the author's biography, book synopsis, and social media links, and books shared on social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Very helpful places to get your book out and advertised. And one of those things that's kind of hard to do on your own sometimes. The cost and research and time that you have to put into that. If you have people that can do that for you, again, it alleviates some of that pressure. So these 2 are, and here is Nicole the Blind Mage. I have not talked about her channel yet. But these 2 are very, very helpful. They're a great resource. They know what they're doing. They've been through all of this. So if you haven't been through this process, they're great for that. And they're a lot of fun to talk to. They're very down to earth. So it's really easy to contact them, get involved, get interested, join the live streams, and have a lot of fun. Because that's kind of the point, right, of working with other creators, but also of working on our own content, is we want it to be fun. And sometimes it's easier to work on your stuff when you're interacting with other people. And I know it sounds kind of weird because it's like, well, wouldn't you want to like have total silence? But having those little breaks and then the 20-minute sprints and the conversations and the jokes in between really, in my experience, it really helps kind of like, it doesn't feel like you're just sitting down to do work, right? And if it's so important to have fun during this process because it is a long process to get published. And Nicole does a lot of book tag videos, discussions about different topics on writing, and she also has a lot of poetry on her channel that she has done for just for the fun of it. She's also got those poetry books that I've talked about. And some of this poetry is inspired by Disney before it got, modern day Disney. Some discussions about magic as well. So, a lot of fun on both of these channels, honestly. And one of the great things to me is to see people and interact with people that are farther along in the process, because they're published. I'm not published yet. And having those people that you can interact with that are just down to earth and a lot of fun to talk to, there's a certain tendency among authors who aren't published yet to view people who are published on a whole nother plane, right? And you're like, well, I'm not there yet. I can't, you know. And a lot of the authors that we know of, you can't really interact with on a daily basis. So having people that have been there, that have done the self-publishing thing, are still doing the self-publishing thing, that can help you out with it, that can talk to you, that can be your friends online, great resource. Absolutely. So I highly recommend both of them. And if you haven't done a writing stream, but you're a writer, absolutely recommend it. And honestly, if you're not a writer, I mean, it's a lot of fun. So maybe give it a chance, give it a shot anyway. Check out their books, check out their poetry, and let me know if you've done these things down in the comments below, if you've had fun, if you know who they are. And hit the like button if you liked the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time.